Chapter 8. How Robinson Trained Friday. One thing Robinson could never teach Friday was to eat salt with his food. The only form in which they consumed salt was sea water, which they used as medicine, drinking it in large quantities until it made them ill. Robinson asked Friday if his tribe ever came to the island, and Friday replied that they did, and he himself had often visited. He said his tribe was strong and skilled in battle. As a result, they captured more prisoners and used the island more frequently than other tribes. It seemed that the far side of the island was considered their territory. Sometimes, other tribes used a different island for their feasts. This troubled Robinson greatly, but over time, Friday's habits began to resemble those of a white man, and teaching him became a great joy to Robinson. The years after Friday's arrival were the happiest Robinson had spent on the island. Not only did he have help with his work, but he also had someone to talk to, which he had greatly missed during the lonely years when he had almost forgotten his own language. Once they could understand each other easily, Robinson asked Friday how far it was from the island to his homeland, and if the canoes were often lost during the crossing. Friday said there was no danger, and no canoes were wrecked. The wind and current always went one way in the morning and the opposite in the afternoon. Robinson thought this was connected to the tides, but later learned that it was simply the difference between the sea breeze and the land breeze, which blew at different times, morning and evening, in the area surrounding the island. The change in the current was caused by the outflow and inflow of a large river near the island's mouth. Friday shared a lot about his homeland and his people, whom he called Caribs. He explained that far to the west, beyond the moon, there were white men with beards like Robinson's. These white men, Friday said, had killed many natives, which led Robinson to think they must have been Spaniards, who at the time were infamous for their cruelty to the people they conquered. Robinson asked Friday if he could tell him how to reach the land of the white men, and Friday said it would be easy if they had a large canoe. Once again, Robinson began to make plans to escape the island. He showed Friday the boat that he and his crew had tried to use to land from the wreck, which still lay high on the shore, out of reach of the waves unless a very high tide or a severe storm came. Friday looked at it for a long time without speaking, until Robinson asked him what he was thinking. Friday then said he had seen such a boat before, but could not immediately explain when or where. Robinson assumed he meant a ship had been stranded on the coast, and that the boat had come from there. But soon, Friday mentioned the men who had been in the boat, whom he and his people had rescued from the sea. He counted on his fingers to show Robinson that there had been 17 men. "Where are they now?" Robinson asked. Friday said they still lived with his tribe. This gave Robinson new thoughts. He wondered if these men might have been from the ship whose guns he had heard, and to which he had later sailed out to the wreck. Friday said his people had given the men food and had not harmed them. Why didn't they kill and eat them? Robinson asked, and Friday again assured him that they only ate those captured in battle. Some time after this, Robinson and Friday happened to be on a high hill at the east end of the island. The day was clear, with a light breeze gently rippling the water, just like the day many years ago when Robinson had seen land far across the sea. Friday gazed at the distant horizon, then began to jump and dance, pointing excitedly to the faint blue coastline. "There is my country. See, there my people live," he said, his eyes shining with joy. Afterward, Robinson was uneasy about Friday for a while. He feared that if Friday returned to his tribe, he might forget everything Robinson had taught him and all he had done. But this suspicion was unfair to Friday, who had no such intentions. Robinson soon realized this. One day, as they walked up the same hill, he asked Friday if he wouldn't be glad to return to his homeland. "Yes," said Friday, "very glad." Robinson then asked why he hadn't gone back. Friday replied it was too far to swim. Robinson offered him a boat, and Friday agreed to go, but only if Robinson came along. "You are good to me. They are good to you," Friday said. Robinson, now more than half inclined to leave, thought that if he could join the other white men, there might be a better chance to build a larger boat and sail to England. So he took Friday to the place where he kept the small canoe he had made. Robinson soon realized that Friday was a much better boatman than he was, able to make the canoe move nearly twice as fast. However, when Robinson suggested they try to cross in that boat, Friday's face fell. "She's too small," he said. Robinson then showed him the first boat he had built, which had been sitting on the sand for over 22 years. Friday said it was big enough, but the sun's heat had warped and cracked it so much that even if they managed to get it into the water, it wouldn't float. Robinson then told Friday that he would build a bigger boat and send him home in it, but he himself would stay alone on the island, as he had done before. Friday, clearly upset, asked, "Why are you angry with Friday? If Master goes, Friday goes. If Master doesn't go, Friday doesn't go." He brought a hatchet and said, "You kill Friday. Don't send him away." Robinson was deeply moved by this display of loyalty, and from that point on, he always trusted Friday completely.